Hello, Rough Rider Nation, and welcome to this edition of the Rider Report, the ins and outs of Yavapai College athletics. I'm Brad Clifford, the athletic director here at Yavapai College, and I'm joined today by our head baseball coach, Ryan Cougill. Ryan, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Listen, we've got, so we're in the midst of the season right now. Rough Riders are currently 20-15, 9-7 the ACC standings. We've won 14 of our last 18 games, so the process is working. You've always talked about a process. How's that process coming to fruition here?
Yeah, we're progressing. We're certainly not there yet, but you're starting to see some things that eliminate that you saw early in the spring with a lot of crooked innings and inconsistency with pitching and some selfish, not in a mean way, but selfish at bats because of probably ignorance more than anything. Mm-hmm. 14 out of 18 is awesome. It doesn't feel like 14 out of 18, probably because we know we haven't peaked yet, and that's right. A good thing.
It's good. I don't want to be peaking too early. I think offensively we've had some bright spots. Who's standing out to you offensively?
This is a lineup that it's hard to pinpoint one guy, and that's what we've preached, and that's partially a majority of our success, actually. Over Torres has done a really good job. His numbers are good. His two-out hitting is good. Carlos Vieira has heated up lately. Tommy Sacco's been consistent. He's playing like a 22-year-old redshirt senior. Jesus Polito has come in and had some unselfish at-bats. So you're starting to see some guys where I rattle off, instead of one or two names, now it's 4, 5, 6 names. Logan Williams has stepped up a lot recently. So I like that aspect of our offense, to where it's not necessarily a one-punch, this is the one guy that can beat you in the lineup. It's a team at bat. It's 1 run an inning, 2 runs every other inning, that kind of a thing. And that's something that I can get my hands around, because that's something that works. If we can make a playoff run, that's something that works late in the year.
Well, I've noticed that you do have a mix there on the field, especially offensively. You're trying to manufacture some runs with some bunts, with some steals, yeah. But you're also letting kids swing away.
Well, I think this team can do a good job of letting the game tell them what to do. So there's times where at Rough Rider Park, when the wind's blowing from the southwest at 20 miles an hour, that you probably don't manufacture too many runs. You probably sit back with your arms crossed. There's times like yesterday where it's blowing from the north, and or you're playing down at a place like a Gateway where a ball doesn't go too far. So I like our offense from a standpoint that we do have an ability to let the game come to us and tell us what to do. There have been some offenses we've had in the past where we were a little bit more one-dimensional, sit around, wait for a long ball, things like that. So this team, if we can continue to gain some confidence and trust that kind of identity, we can have some success.
You mentioned a couple of kids over, obviously having a great year from the plate. You mentioned Carlos, who's had a couple of game-winning hits, some walk-off hits. Tommy Sacco hit a ball yesterday that I think hit the trees out there. Yeah. So we've got some people really producing pretty well for us.
I like how there's kind of this attitude now of we can always win a game. You saw a pretty sloppy game 1 yesterday, and it's really easy. I think probably a month ago, unfortunately, this team probably lays over and lays an egg, so to speak. And you saw Sacco come up clutch, and then you saw a rough top of the 8th inning, and we saw Cody hit a 2-out double, and you're seeing some fight, and that's what I like. You're seeing a little bit of Floyd Mayweather in the 11th and 12th round instead of Mike Tyson punch yourself out in the 2nd or 3rd round. So that is our identity, and if we continue to trust that, it's a team thing, but we'll have success.
You mentioned yesterday's game a little bit, and that was against Chandler Gilbert. We go into that bottom of the 8th inning, and even the last out, Gunnar Bundrick hits a line drive to left center, and I thought the center fielder made a great play on it.
I talked to Gunnar before his at-bat and just said, hey, if you're the last out of the game, make sure you make a loud out. And, of course, that means get a pitch to hit and just control what you can control. He can't control where the left fielder or shortstop is, and, he was upset because he cares, right. And that's a good upset. Right. But what I like is the process that he didn't freeze up, he didn't panic, and he could be any one of our hitters. he got a pitch to hit and hurt it, and it just was at somebody.
Right at somebody. Our pitching's been outstanding. We got our starting pitching's been outstanding. We got a couple of hard luck losers here recently. Tommy Costello throws one home run ball and he loses 1-0 in a 9-inning game. Yesterday, Jonathan Stroman, hard luck loser again. Yesterday, I thought he pitched well, but I thought your starting pitches have been dominating, quite honestly.
Yeah, they're hard luck losers in the box score and things like that, but I think they went out and did their job. Starting pitching doesn't really win you games. It can certainly lose you games. I think the starting pitching is there to keep you in games. And I don't remember an outing here recently where our starting pitching hasn't kept us in games. So that's part of the progression is, pitching's 90% of it. But, those 4 starters have done a tremendous job keeping us in games.
Right. And Jesus Valdez actually came in yesterday, and he did a great job, although he took the loss in that first game. But I thought he did his job very well as well.
Well, you've seen some back into the bullpen arms. Jesus, Taylor Frost, Kevin Stevens, who now are starting to understand and take responsibility for their roles and wait their turn when their role comes up. It's an important role. So you're seeing those 6, 7, 8 pitchers really kind of take some pride in their responsibility to help us win games. And that's why you're starting to see 14 out of 18, 3 out of 4. And if we continue that, that's when you'll start to see some more progression.
So you're comfortable where we're at now in the process. We've got, I think, 10 doubleheaders remaining, 5 of them at home. So we're still in the thick of things.
Yeah, I wouldn't say comfortable. I'm comfortable in the fact that we're progressing and we're taking a step forward daily. I think we need to continue having unselfish team at bats because that's our identity. I don't want to say it's the only way, but it's the only way that we're going to have success offensively. Pitchers need to kind of maintain that steady roller coaster ride of they can't control errors, they can't control scoring runs, and that's why you're starting to see better pitching because they're controlling what they can control. So I'm comfortable in the fact that I feel like we're starting to learn those baseball lessons. Uncomfortable in the fact of we haven't put it all together yet. We're probably doing 2 of 3 things well consistently, and those 3 things would be pitching, defense, and hitting. And that's why you see us win 2 of 3 games, that kind of a thing. Seems like the days that we're pitching it really well, we're either not picking it off the ground or we're not scoring runs. So when we can put the 3 of those things together, at least have one of those things not lose us games, then I think you'll start to see some lightning in the bottle.
We certainly don't want to be peaking too soon, but we do have 10 doubleheaders remaining, so I feel we're in a good position, but I'm not coaching the team either.
Well, it's not so much that I'm pessimistic. I'm very optimistic with this group. I really think this group can do some good things. We just have to be able to put those 3 things together, and we certainly have the capability to do that.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about, not talk a lot about it, but recruiting's the lifeblood of college baseball.
Yeah.
How's recruiting been going for you?
Yeah, recruiting sets the table for everything we want to do well in our program. It's play baseball, it's go to school, it's be good people, set kind of a good culture for the program and the school. Recruiting is awesome. And it's the same conversation I have every year where we have to make sure it stays awesome. The high school season is coming around where those senior, junior college signees are starting to possibly get looked at by Division I schools who may lose guys. The pro guys are out in forces right now. So Coach Wise, Coach Dawson, Coach Suko have been just killing it with relationships and make sure we maintain contact and the importance of coming here and the luxury it is to come here. So I remain optimistic, and anything that we need to pick up the pieces on come May, June, July, we will.
Academically, you do a very good job of stressing academics, the importance of academics here. Can you share with the Rough Rider Nation what it is, how important is academics to the junior college player?
Yeah, thank you. I think it gets overlooked a lot at the junior college level. There's that old stereotype of, if you're not a good student, if there's some immaturity there, you go to junior college. Mm-hmm. And that is a stereotype, and stereotypes sometimes are true. This one isn't true with Yavapai. We have to recruit the individual, and we have to recruit the student. Yavapai is not an institution where you can show up once a month and get your B, and the baseball program isn't a program where you can show up once a month and get your B. So I think just holding guys accountable and understanding, giving them the resources. Yavapai is just incredible with resources, tutoring, advising, just leadership that kind of, as an 18-year-old, you may not have the exact priority on wanting to go to, your general education course and do the absolute best you can. But by the time you leave here, you need to have that responsibility. And I think as a program, as an athletic department with the other 3 coaches, I would praise the program, the athletic department, just to no ends with that. There's a reason you see guys move on to four-year schools, and that's because of the academics.
Very well. All right, so the Rough Riders have 10 more doubleheaders remaining. 5 of those are at Rough Rider Park. So come out and support the Rough Riders. I think our next home doubleheader is obviously tomorrow against Cochise. And then coming up next Tuesday, I believe we have Mesa up here. Is that correct?
At Mesa, we're
At Mesa.
I don't know who we are. Glendale up here on
Glendale
Tuesday.
up here.
Yep.
That's what it is. So, Ryan, thanks for joining us today. Come out and support the Rough Riders. They're an exciting brand, and we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of it, and we're pushing for a playoff spot here. So get out and see the Rough Riders. Check us out on www.goroughriders.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are streaming the games live on Facebook, so if you can't make it to the game, we'd like you to. Check us out on Facebook. But as always, go Rough Riders.